Hello, my friends. For today's beer review, we're going to be taking a look at Belhaven Brewery's Twisted Thistle IPA. Belhaven Brewery, at least to me, is someone I look to for their Scotch ales. They make pretty damn fine Scotch ales. How are they going to fare for an IPA? I don't really know. I've read in an article before, which is pretty interesting. You always hear about how things are made higher quality in Europe and France and Italy than they are in America, or how their stuff is more exotic and unique. But what I've come to find out is that there are some beers that are, imported to us, exported from Europe, and the stuff that's meant to go to America has an increased amount of bittering hops or an increased amount of ABV. Come to find out, there's not all that much in the way of, really hoppy, bitter, or high ABV craft-style beers over in Europe. Now, that's not just a little thing that I've noticed. I've tasted this. Usually, I'll hear about a stout or something of the like that it's just a time-honored tradition stout in Europe, and people rave about how strong and robust and full the flavor is. And I drink it, and it's like boring and not that great. And I think it's just because as Americans, we have a different view on the craft beer world and the things that we like. That being said, I don't know how an IPA from Scotland is going to be, so we're going to find out. Anyway, this is their Twisted Thistle IPA. Let's hope it's not actually brewed with real thistle. It says grown, mashed, fermented, twisted, and conditioned in Scotland. And on the back here it says, a refreshing example of an India Pale Ale from the master brewers at Belhaven. This blend of Cascade and Challenger hops combine to produce an abundance of fresh hop aroma that preludes a bitter dry taste explosion. Crafted from nearly 3 centuries of brewing heritage at one of Scotland's oldest breweries, this ale from Belhaven will have your taste buds tingling. And one thing that concerns me is the fact that it comes in a clear bottle. If you notice, a lot of those import beers have a skunky taste to them, and that's because they use clear and green bottles mostly over in Europe and the like. And I don't know why, because if there's anything that you know about beer, it's that light is beer's worst enemy, and that's what makes it skunky. Now, this has been sitting in the grocery store, I don't know how long, because I don't see a date on this. And it even says on the back right here, store out of direct sunlight, so I don't know. We're going to see. Comes in at 6.1% ABV, which is decently high, I would say. It's getting to that moderate range. 6 to 7.5 is where I consider moderate. 8% is what I consider the line between moderate to pretty high. And 8 and up is high to extremely high and astronomical eventually. So let's get the cap off, and I'm going to take this one off carefully because it has a different cap from all the other Belhaven beers, all the Scotch ales that I've had from them. So there's lots of little bubbles already rushing up to the top. I'll be drinking this today out of my Dogfish Head IPA glass. So let's give it a pour. Pour is a very pretty golden amber. It actually looks like Crown Royal whiskey or something pouring straight out of the bottle. Enough left to top off the glass after you've had a few sips. Formed a nice finger of just very lightly honey yellow head. Up into the light, it is a nice kind of orange colored head. Now, I'm not going to lie, from here I'm already smelling huge amounts of skunkiness in this beer. That's not what I want to find in my IPAs. Not too many bubbles streaming up to reinforce the head. Let's give it a smell. That's not an IPA. Not the aroma, at least. I mean, it smells like a... It smells like a Scotch ale, or a Heineken, maybe even, or a Stella Artois. Just those green bottle European import beers. It almost has peat smoke, it's so skunky. And that's not to say that it's a bad smell. It smells like a damn fine Scotch ale, but it does not smell like an IPA whatsoever. I can't find anything past this peat smokiness and maybe even a little bit of sweet caramel in this. They should advertise it as a Scotch ale because it smells amazing for being a Scotch ale, but as an IPA, not in a million years, if you blindfolded me, would I have guessed that this is an IPA from the smell. Let's hope the taste fares a little differently. That's one of the strangest things I've ever tasted. It's malty, incredibly sweet. I really hate that they advertise this as an IPA, because as an IPA, it gets a really bad score. As a Scotch ale, that's exactly what this tastes like. I'm not joking. This would be like a 9 out of 10 Scotch ale. I think this tastes better than their Scotch ales do as a Scotch ale taste, and I'm not joking. It's got malts, carbonation bite, sweet caramel, sweet, roasty, smoky peatiness, tobacco, maybe even the lightest touch of like whiskey or bourbon if you really searched for it. Just a little bit bitter in the back. I'm really at a conundrum here for a rating, because this is a delicious beer, but it's not an IPA. Okay. This is going to be the most unconventional review, score, and advice that I'll ever give on this channel, probably. But as an IPA, I'm going to give it like a 1 because it's not an IPA. I mean, it's not an IPA. It's just not. As far as it tasting like an amazing beer or a Scotch ale, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. So, here, time for some unconventional wisdom here. If you like Scotch ales, go out and get Belhaven Twisted Thistle IPA. I'm dead serious. I just can't believe this is advertised as an IPA. It's so smoky and rich and caramelly and malty that I just would have never have guessed in a million years that this is supposed to be an IPA. Never ever would I have guessed it. But anyway, that has been my review of Belhaven Twisted Thistle Scotch Ale. Hope you guys enjoyed the review as always, and stay tuned for the next one as usual.